Hi everybody. This video is about the law of cosines. Now, the law of cosines in reality is a glorified version of the Pythagorean theorem, except that it works on non-right triangles. So in this example, we're trying to find side AC. Now, using one of the common naming conventions, side AC we would denote as lowercase b, because it's across from the angle capital B. Now what the law of cosines says, it looks like this would be really difficult to memorize, but it says b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine b. In order to memorize the law of cosines, what most students do is they know that the side that's on the left corresponds to the angle that's inside the cosine function. So in this example, we're trying to find lowercase b, which means that in this really weird formula, we're going to be dealing with the cosine of angle b, 123 degrees. So if you plug in all of the unknowns, what we have is, well, b squared. B squared, that's what we're looking for, equals a squared plus c squared. Well, how are you supposed to remember these two variables? In reality, you don't really have to. If you know that the side is what you're looking for, then in the law of cosines, a squared plus c squared, that's the other two sides, which you're going to have to know those if you're going to use the law of cosines. So we have 20 squared plus 14 squared minus 2 times, well, a and c, that's the same two sides that we just used. So that's 20 times 14 times the cosine of, well, what angle are we talking about? Well, if you analyze the entire formula, if you're looking for b squared, this little red double-sided arrow I have at the top, remember, these are corresponding to each other. So b squared and angle B correspond. So if we're looking for side lowercase b, that's related to angle capital B, which in this example is 123 degrees. So all I have to do is solve this equation, which we could do by hand. You'd have to take the square root on both sides. We are going to use a relatively powerful calculator in this class, so menu, algebra, we can just solve this equation. We have b squared equals 20 squared plus 14 squared. My apologies that the pen is going over what I'm typing, but you get the idea. So b squared equals 20 squared plus 14 squared minus 2 times 20 times 14 times the cosine of 123 degrees. Remember, I have to use the solve command, comma, whatever your variable name is. In this case, it's b. So I press enter. Our smart calculator gives us this really exact answer. You can press Control Enter to get an exact answer. Since this was a quadratic equation, we have either negative 30 or positive 30. This is geometry, so we're going to take the answer positive 30 for B. So that's what we have. B equals 30 degrees, and we're done. So the law of cosines is really powerful, especially if you don't have to work through all of the algebra. It's deriving this formula, which is quite a bit more interesting. But again, it's basically the Pythagorean theorem, but a bit more complicated than that. So if we want to do another example, you can see here we're trying to find the measure of an angle. This time we want to find the measure of angle C. So let's see. We want to find the measure of angle C. And remember, the law of cosines, as we saw from the first example, is going to be based on the two sides that are close to it versus the side that's opposite. So what we're going to have is, well, 19.2 squared equals the adjacent sides, so that's 13.3 squared plus 21 squared minus 2 times 13.3 times 21 times the cosine of the angle that we're talking about, which is angle C. Now, you might be asking yourself, and this is really the important part, how am I supposed to remember this? Well, in the law of cosines, the side that's alone on the left-hand side, well, I'll draw the same red arrow. That's the side that's across from the angle that's in the law of cosines. And then everything else has to fall into place. Well, if the side 19.2 corresponds to the cosine of the angle we're looking for, then this side 13.3 and this side 21 and, well, this side 13.3 again and this side 21, that's the other two sides. So the main thing with the law of cosines is to know that the side that's on the left and the angle that's on the right inside the cosine function is that they're across from each other. And then you can plug in all of the other sides appropriately, and it's actually not that difficult to memorize. Now, if you want to solve this in the calculator, the only thing that's slightly different, if you don't want to do it by hand, which is not all that bad, but if we're just going to solve it in the calculator, use the nsolve command, which in the Inspire CAS, you go to Menu, Algebra, and I believe it's option 6 for numerical solve. I don't want to go ahead and type that in on this video. This video is long enough as it is, but that's how you would deal with the law of cosines when you're looking for an unknown angle using the calculator. Anyway, hope this helped. See you next time.